We've been saying for what feels like forever, but the Rings of Power need to get into gear and get things going, and with episode 6 it certainly brought the spectacle. This was a very action heavy entry which came a bit sooner than I thought, considering how long it took them to leave Numenor. I thought we'd have an episode of them travelling, for example. But instead everything moved pretty quickly, and what came was what we expected, and that is connecting the storylines together, and this one they connected the Galadriel and the Adar storyline together. And with all that meant a week off for the Harfoots as well as Elrond and co. We start off the episode with Adar planting a seed into the ground before leading the orcs to the watchtower. Arondir helps break the tower loose as it crumbles to the ground onto the fleeing orcs. Bronwyn and her people watch on as they make their way to the village. Then we jump over to the Numenorian ships and see Isildur share an apple with a horse. He has a talk with Galadriel before Galadriel also has a talk with his father, and we learn that Isildur's mother died by drowning. We then go back to Arondir, who's trying to destroy the hilt, but with no luck he decides to hide it. And I thought at that point he'd be going into the woods and burying it in a hole or something, but we do find out later where he did decide to hide it. Following that, we see the village people prepare for the incoming attack, and then Arondir gives a speech to the people which I thought was a bit weak, but I mean I like the guy, but I think he's not really a main character. I think he's more so a side character. And credit to the actor, he says a lot with his face and I think he's very expressive, but when it comes to actually opening his mouth, that's when it all goes a bit downhill for me. Theo wants to fight in the battle, but his mother says absolutely not, and instead he's got to go and protect those who can't fight. Our second scene involving seeds, now we have Arondir and Bronwyn planting some of their own before the battle. Night falls and we see the orcs coming over the hill with their torches appearing one by one, and I really liked how they did this scene because it showed the magnitude of the battle ahead. We then get a pretty entertaining action sequence with an orc playing with his food once again. I mean, Arondir should have died quite a few times here. Luckily for him, Bronwyn's there just in time to save the day, and they think they're victorious, but it turns out they've actually been killing their own men. The orcs on the outside shoot their arrows and get quite a few hits in, with Bronwyn taking one, as well as Treadwell.
No! No! Everybody really liked him! No!
Arondir and Theo help Bronwyn by pulling out the arrow, and then they treat to her wound. Adar and the orcs break down the doors of the tavern and demand to know where the hilt is. They start killing people and threaten to kill Bronwyn, so Theo gives in and shows that the hilt is under one of the slabs in the tavern. Why Arondir chose that place as a hiding place, I still have no idea, so if you know, let me know in the comments below, but like, why would you choose to hide it in a place like a tavern when he said to Bronwyn he's going to hide it somewhere where even he can't tell her? I'll surely put it somewhere random out of the way somewhere, no? Anyway, putting that aside, Adar gets the hilt and then he walks outside and sees that he's getting attacked by Galadriel and the Numenorians. How they know there's an attack going on right now in this village, I don't really know, unless it's like Galadriel's long sight or something. And if that's the case, what's the distance of her sight? I mean, can she look at Elrond right now taking a shit? If there is a better explanation, let me know, but it wasn't very clear to me. What follows was another entertaining action scene which is in the light this time, so that's a bonus. Adar attempts to flee the scene on his horse, so Galadriel chases him. Luckily for Halbrand, he's got a horse called Sonic and appears in front of him and trips up his horse. Halbrand is ready to kill Adar before Galadriel reminds him that they need him alive. During an interrogation scene, we learn that Adar is one of the first orcs, or as he likes to be called, Uruk. And following a brief flashback, Adar says he killed Sauron. Galadriel thinks that's total bollocks and tells him that he's going to be the last one she kills after killing all the rest of the orcs. The Queen Regent then declares Halbrand as the king of the Southlands. Then we have hot potato of the hilt because Galadriel gives it to Arondir and then Arondir gives it to Theo. But it turns out it's just an axe because Adar gave the hilt to Waldreg as they left the tavern. And this all seems a bit silly to me, because why wouldn't Galadriel want to look at the hilt before giving it over to Arondir? I mean, wouldn't she want to see it? Anyway, it turns out the hilt acts as a key, so Waldreg puts it in and then the water comes crashing through like me after a couple of ciders. And whoever organised all these trenches for the water to flow through to get to the volcano for it then to explode, I mean, they need an award. It starts raining lava on the village and we end the episode with Galadriel getting swarmed up in the smoke. So yeah, this was easily the best episode of the series without a shadow of a doubt. It was entertaining and of course the action helps and that was great to see, but the main thing here is that it was a focused episode. Though there are still a handful of issues, not including the ones I mentioned, unless you go shot by shot being, you know, like, oh, that horse moved a bit weird so it's broke the illusion, you're going to be able to look past it and still enjoy the episode. With the way the show's been going recently, I thought they might have left this action-packed episode until the finale, so it'll be interesting to see what they deliver in the final 2 episodes. So we'll have to wait and see if the birth of Mordor is the peak of the Rings of Power. But what are your thoughts on the episode? Did you also enjoy it or did you think it was disappointing? And for those of you who keep reminding me that this is anti-Tolkien, I completely understand that and I have my own opinions on this as well, but I feel like you have to give them a fair review on each episode. You know, you got to put this bias aside. Like, fair enough if you're against the show's existence, but not every episode is going to be a 0 out of 10. There's going to be ups and downs throughout the season. But anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and if you want something else to watch on screen right now is our movie and TV preview for the month of October.